All right. Good morning, everyone. Josh Kivenko here from Vecna Robotics on LinkedIn Live. I love the LinkedIn Live. I'm joined by the one and only and another trusty pal of mine, Nikki Slaughter. Good morning, Nikki. How are you?
Good morning. Doing good. How are you, Josh?
I'm doing great. Doing great. So massively excited about episode 6 of Robot versus Wild. It's been a whirlwind and a completely different series for us this year. We're talking about what happens when the robots really get into the wild. And we're not talking about a proof of concept or deploying one robot and sort of watching it and babysitting it. We're talking about getting your automation system to scale, right? And really the series is about looking around corners. What happens when you really get to that point, and what are some of the considerations? So with me, Nikki is our director of post-deployment operations. And I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you why she's here. The title of the series is Behind Every Great Robot is a Strong Human. Behind Every Great Robot is a Strong Human. And Nikki's going to talk a little bit about what we mean by that. But before I get to that, Nikki, you run our Pivotal Command Center. Why don't you just tell us a little bit about what that's about?
Sure, absolutely. So our Pivotal Command Center, PCC for short, is our 24/7 remote operations team who's making sure that all of our robots at all of our different customers are running the best that they can. And we're also helping out to make sure that we're looking at operational improvements and things that we can help make just our robots act better for your site and for your humans as well.
Right. A real differentiator for us in so many ways. And what Nikki and for all these guests, we don't just pull this together. This is not between two ferns here. Like, we don't just get the guests and throw them to the wolves. We spend a lot of time talking about, well, what is it that folks want to see in an episode like this? And so Nikki and I have about 6 or 7 vignettes that we'll walk through. And one of them that I thought for next week, August 30th at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, one of them that I thought was particularly interesting was Nikki was talking about the command center like a Formula One pit crew, right? Which was an interesting analogy. Well, first of all, Nikki, are you a Formula One fan? Are you following that Netflix show or whatever?
I should. I definitely have watched a few Formula One shows, but
okay.
It scares me a little bit, but it's still very fun.
So well, I have a Formula One here in my city, and I don't watch Formula One, so shame on me. But let's get to it then. Okay, so what's with this Formula One analogy, pit crew analogy to our command center?
Absolutely, yeah. So again, like we said, the series is about behind every robot is a great human. Even a Formula One pit crew, like, you need to have those folks in play to make sure your car is moving as fast as possible, that you're keeping the wheels changed out, things like that. Our team is doing a lot of the same stuff for your robots as well. It's not necessarily just hardware aspects, but it's also the workflow and how those robots are acting on your site. We know that a lot of our customers go through seasonality. You might hire more manual operators in your facility who are working alongside our robots, maybe not as used to the traffic flows, things like that. Or maybe you're actually having maintenance done on your site and robots have to flow a different way. So our team is here to help assist with those types of things and also make sure that, again, your workflows between robots and humans are working flawlessly as well. We're building in that flexibility with our remote support team who can help manage that too.
I would argue that you're greater than a pit crew because you're not just managing one vehicle.
Right. We're managing a whole fleet and all of our customers' fleets. True.
And all of our customers' fleets. And I would also argue it's not just about one race and it's not just about one season of races, right? There's constant change that's happening from day to day, season to season, year to year, and that having that human in the loop portion of our automated system is really what drives performance.
And, absolutely, and definitely the other piece of that is when there are improvements and changes on your site that are outside of the scope of your automated system. we might see that changing and work with your team to say, hey, we understand you changed some workflows over here. We're noticing that maybe the robots would act better if we routed them a slightly different way and work with your new flows. So that's something that, again, every operations has changes over time. We're noticing them a lot in real time too with our 24/7 staff.
I mean, we should just do the webinar right now. We should just get right into it.
We should.
No, we're not doing that. Got to pay the bills.
Yep.
So this is great. I mean, we've already, talked about this for 5 minutes. So imagine what we're going to be able to do next week in a half an hour webinar. So please join us next week, Friday, August 30th at 11 a.m. Eastern. Behind every great robot is a strong human. It's episode 6 of Robot versus Wild. Find somewhere on our LinkedIn account here in Vecna Robotics to, link to register. Go on our website, on the nav, resources, look for webinars, register for the webinars. Also, just want to remind everybody, all of our episodes of Robot versus Wild, the last 5, we have little snippets of them. If you just want to familiarize yourself with what we talked about, you can also register for the full webinar if you have some time to spare. So thank you for supporting us on this effort. Nikki, have a great weekend, and I look forward to next Friday. We'll have a nice chat.
Sounds good. Right. See you then.
All right. Bye, have a great weekend, everybody.